Hello, my name is Dr. Gerald Hill, Superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District. Nearly 50 years ago, on October 11, 1970, students, teachers, and community members joined Superintendent Anthony Whittam, General Frederick Douglass Strong, and Governor William Milliken on the shores of Orchard Lake to mark the dedication of Apple Island as Marjorie Ward Strong Woodland Sanctuary. The proclamation of the day read as follows: "This historic island is given to the West Bloomfield School District in memory of Marjorie Ward Strong, its principal owner and faithful conservator for half a century, whose last request was that it be preserved in its natural state as a permanent woodland sanctuary, that the children of this favored land of lakes and forests may, as young students, learn to cherish, understand, and guard the priceless gifts of nature." Not long after the dedication, a scientific study was made of the island's topography, soils, vegetation, and other natural aspects of the island. This study provided the basis for development of a curriculum to capitalize on the learning opportunities of the Marjorie Ward Strong Woodland Sanctuary. In the 1970s and 80s, West Bloomfield High School students and teachers received a grant funds to improve the trail system and use the island for studies of local ecology. The West Bloomfield Optimist Club donated funds for the purchase of 2 pontoon boats, and the district installed a dock and stairs to climb the steep embankment. West Bloomfield Parks even organized a cross-country skiing outing across the lake to the island. In the 1990s, the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society began its partnership to provide docent-led tours for the school district's second grade students. Then about 7,000 students and teachers and chaperones participated on the tours. We hope to resume this tradition as soon as conditions allow. In 2001, the first of several formal archaeological expeditions occurred on the island. Students and professors from Cranbrook Institute of Science, Madonna University, Western Michigan University, and others investigated native and European presence on the island. Artifacts uncovered during these studies are on display at the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society Museum, providing tangible evidence of the island's human history. We'd like to thank the Ward Strong family for their generous donation to our school district 50 years ago, and we'd like to thank the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society for their continued support and stewardship of Apple Island.
Hi, my name is Amy Quinn, and I am the K-12 Math and Science Coordinator for West Bloomfield Schools. Apple Island is definitely one of my favorite places, a treasure in West Bloomfield. About a year ago, I visited the island with a science teacher from the high school, Nick Freilich. And our goal was really to see how could we engage in the island's educational resources in really like some new ways.
I mean, in an area like this, you've got excellent examples of when a tree comes down, there's various levels of succession, of primary, secondary, tertiary succession, and what types of plants would grow when a tree first comes down, and then after a certain time frame, how that changes until ultimately it ends up back to where it was in the beginning, which was with these large trees. Lots of examples.
After the visit, I was inspired to apply for a grant through the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation to purchase some equipment that might facilitate the island research and support some of the learning goals. When I think about things we can do on the island, the possibilities are endless. A wildlife camera to kind of watch the nature, storytelling, observing seasons. Even our second graders, they learn about life cycles. They could release their butterflies on the island, looking into the water and land samples. What we would love to do is create an outdoor learning space where students could gather around with their teacher and just, really enjoy the beauty around them. And you can't forget about the boat ride. For some, that is definitely the best part. So through the pandemic and the ever-present challenges of working on an island, we've put our plans on hold. However, our list is ready to revisit in the near future. Apple Island is a special place for all ages. It's a unique place, and we're so lucky in West Bloomfield to have this opportunity for our students and our community.
we're going to approach an area where it was one of the very few, if not only, sunny spots on the whole island in 2018, when students from Gretchko Elementary School, with the really the initiative of the Cherfolis, came out here and planted 5 snow apple trees. So, well, as we approach that area, hopefully we'll be able to get a good look at the trees. They've been here for 2 years now. The reason the area was sunny is a very large maple tree had died. Its branches had defoliated and left a giant sunspot that you can actually see if you zoom into on the island on Google Earth. So let's approach the apple trees. So if we look over here, the sun just went behind a cloud, but that is the area where you can see the large trunk of the tree that actually fell last summer. And there are 5 apple trees out there. Everything else is growing because of the sunshine, so the apple trees are in a race to be taller than the surrounding maple trees. They have a small white ribbon on them, and I can sort of bushwhack over there and point one out. It measures about 10 feet tall. It looks relatively healthy. I'm not really sure what an apple tree should look like this time of year. So that's one. There's another one right over here that's a little bit more obscured, and it only measures about 8 feet. It's a little bit, maybe it's in a little bit of a shadier spot. Here's one. This one also measures about 10 feet. That's number 3. Number 4 right here measures about 10 feet. And behind number 4, if you can see the ribbon, that's another one measures about 10 feet. So that's 5 apple trees. They are all seem to be relatively healthy, competing with the other trees for this sunshine. So we'll see who wins.
All right, second graders, so this part is just for you. So in the past, we were able to take our second graders on a very unique field trip to the island. Yes, West Bloomfield School District has its very own island right in the middle of Orchard Lake. It's called Apple Island. Maybe you've seen it as you were maybe driving by around the area. Maybe your older brother or sister have visited the island. Well, this year we had to postpone the field trips, but we still want you to have a way to experience some of the history of the island. So over 100 years ago, several families had cottages on the island. They would vacation on Apple Island all summer long, just like when maybe your family would go up north. The island families would travel from their regular homes in the city of Detroit out to the island for some rest and relaxation. So the cottages had everything they needed for full-time living, including dishes and furniture, cooking equipment. The Campbells, the family who owned the island the longest, vacationed there for over 60 years. Eventually, the Campbells sold the island to the Ward family, who had a summer home there for about 20 years. 50 years ago, the Wards gave the island to our school district. No one lives on Apple Island. Well, I mean, except for the chipmunks and the raccoons, but you can still see evidence of the cottages. We know about the island families from writings and a few photographs passed down through the years. We also know about their life on Apple Island from the little broken pieces of dishware, glassware, and other household items that we found. So here's where your part comes in. You have a chance to investigate some of these artifacts and imagine the stories behind the item. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society has prepared a set of worksheets, and each of them has a feature of a real artifact found on Apple Island. So you can have fun with these artifacts by drawing what the item might have looked like before it was broken. Write a short story imagining how the item might have been used. Who might have used it? Why would it have been discarded? Be creative. Some of the artifacts have maker's marks that indicate the company that made the item. So this can be a clue to the item's purpose. Often you can research an item by Googling the maker's mark. To help bring your story to life, here's a list of the Campbell family members. Okay, you ready? So the father, his name was Colin. The mother was Caroline. Their children were John, Jesse, Forrest. He loved to sail and actually had his own cottage on the island as an adult. Jeannie and Caroline, who was nicknamed Tina. Also, Winford Hamlin was a young boy who lived several years on the island when his father was the caretaker. Win even attended Scotch school in the early 1900s. So with your parents' permission, we encourage you to share your completed worksheet with the community through the Historical Society's Facebook page. And we look forward to seeing your imagination at work, and we want you to have fun and be creative. I'll be sharing a little more information about this with your teachers, but start thinking about some creative ideas, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.